Here we go, it's the Poff Poff Pass Show. You didn't know it's the Poff Poff Pass Show. Me and my bro, it's the Poff Poff Pass Show.
Yo, what's good, baby? Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors aren't the only super team in the Bay Area because the Poff Poff Pass Show is back. We got JT Blaze in the house. We got Brian Nelson in the house. We got a lot to talk about. McGregor, Mayweather going down. We're going to break down some big UFC fights. We're going to play a little buy or sell, put this Red Sox fan to the test, see if he's a true homer. We'll also put the Dodger fan to the test, see if he's an even bigger homer.
I am. Yeah.
He's a beast. Come on, man. It's going to be a fun 30 minutes. First, we got to talk about the hottest thing in sports right now, and that's Floyd McGregor. Floyd versus McGregor.
Yeah.
That works. Going down in Vegas August 26th. Brian, what's your initial take on this scrap?
Well, it's really, I think, a lot about Conor McGregor's ability to catch up to Floyd Mayweather, and whether in 2 months a MMA fighter can become a professional boxer against the best, almost, I was going to say best pound for pound boxer, but I forgot Muhammad Ali. But but nonetheless, it's really McGregor's ability to translate his skill set from an MMA fighter, where he uses so many different abilities to become the dominant MMA fighter he is, to just strictly go with punches in a boxing match. It's going to be interesting because McGregor is in the prime of his life, 28 years old, and his philosophy about fighting is so much about accuracy. You remember when he talked about the Aldo knockout, how he was saying precision punches beat everything, but Floyd is so shifty. How is he going to become accurate against such an elusive fighter? So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And you look at Conor, too. I mean, like you said, he's very elusive. And in Floyd, he's going to be fighting a guy that's not your typical boxer. So it's going to be something new for Floyd that he really hasn't seen either. I think the first couple rounds might be McGregor's best chance to maybe land that big left hand that he has. Yeah. But Floyd Mayweather is so smooth and footwork's off the charts, where the longer this fight goes, I think the tougher it'll be for Conor.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if we really look at it, I give McGregor maybe a 10 or 15% chance.
Yeah.
We're talking about him going into Mayweather's world, meaning a lot of the tool sets and tools he has, you know, as far as an MMA fighter, he doesn't have in this fight. He can't use leg kicks. He can't use takedowns. If we think about it, he didn't even really win a boxing fight with Diaz when they fought in their first fight. So the fact that another MMA boxer can outbox him, then that just proves to me that, of course, the best boxer arguably right now in the world is definitely going to be able to outbox him. And like you said, McGregor's really only chance is having a landing punch that knocks him out. And I just think with Mayweather's defensive skills and counter-punching ability, I just don't think McGregor's going to have enough quickness to keep up with Mayweather, especially in a, 13-round, 14, 15-round fight.
Yeah, 12-round fight.
12-round fight. It shows you I don't watch much boxing these days.
There's one thing this fight's about, and it's just money, 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 more money. The thing I'm looking most forward to is watching these two boys set up the fight, all the press conferences they do, because these are probably the best two smack talkers in not just MMA or boxing, but probably in all the sports.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw the fireworks that Diaz and McGregor would have, and then Mayweather, he's constantly chirping, and I think the Mayweather-Pacquiao was obviously, the buildup was the two best fighters of this generation, but Pacquiao's not a talker, so the lead-up wasn't going to be about the press conference, where this is all about the entertainment value with Conor's ability to talk and Mayweather going back and forth.
Now, listen, we got NBA trivia coming up on the draft, but I'm going to throw a boxing trivia question out there. I know my guy Big Kahuna in the back producing the show would get this right. Who's the only other boxer to have a 49-0 record? That would be wrong.
Wow. I can't think of any fighter that's undefeated. I know that's great. Obviously, Ali, Foreman, all those guys lost.
Who you got? Okay,
Rocky Marciano?
Yeah, because you heard the guy in the back.
What's funny is I knew his name before, but I couldn't remember his name until
Marciano,
Dad said
49-0, straight savage back in the day. Mayweather's got a chance to be the first boxer to go 50-0 though, which shouldn't count because he's fighting a UFC guy. Speaking of the UFC though, the thing that sucks is 155-pound division, little holdup, while McGregor goes to make $100 million. Not. Pretty smart move in his part.
And you could argue, like, if McGregor gets that huge payday, is he going to go back to the UFC?
According to Dana White, who knows? But according to Dana White, he said Conor McGregor has already told him that he's going to fight before the end of the year and defend his belt, which will most likely be against Tony Ferguson.
I think that's a possibility if you think about it. One payday should be enough for McGregor. And at the end of the day, I think he's more about proving himself as earning. It's kind of like an athlete earning rings, but instead earning belts. How many different belts can I to earn to prove my legacy? And I think McGregor's more about his legacy than the payday. But the payday is nice right now, and he may be able to add more to his legacy on top of that. So.
And before we take a break, there's still some big UFC fights coming up. We got 7 events coming up in the next 7 weeks. I mean, all the way till the first weekend of August. There's going to be a fight card in 6 of those 7 weeks. So get your popcorn ready. Got some big fights coming up, but the next big one is UFC 213. There's going to be 2 belts on the line if you count the interim title shot between Yoel Romero and Whitaker. You got Cerrone Lawler. But the main event, Amanda Nunes trying to defend her belt for the second time against Valentina Shevchenko, a girl who gave her a very tough 3-round fight. Unanimous decision win for Amanda Nunes. But Shevchenko has shown she can take that first round from Nunes. So this is going to be an interesting fight. Who you kind of leaning towards? Are you going with the champ or the challenger?
I'm leaning towards the champ on this one. I think she has to have a lot of confidence going in with 2 victories over the biggest names in the bantamweight division for the women.
2 first-round knockouts.
And she was very impressive in those fights. So obviously the book on Nunes is you try to get her to the 5 rounds in the championship fight, and she's probably going to gas out. But she's such a proficient striker that I don't think that's going to be an issue here in this fight. Obviously, if it does go 5 rounds, then you start rethinking some things. But I'm leaning towards Nunes in this fight.
I honestly feel really confident in Nunes. Just after, like Brian said, she's one of the most confident fighters in the world right now, one of the top fighters. And Shevchenko doesn't really have any power or anything in her wheelhouse that I think can really put any pressure on Nunes. So even if it does go late in the rounds, I think Nunes will have a solid lead anyway. And I don't see her getting finished by Shevchenko. So I don't really see much possibility for Shevchenko winning this fight unless she lands some sort of submission. And with Nunes' power and ability, I just think she's going to finish
Shevchenko showed she has that ability to land a submission when she armbarred Juliana Pena in the second round, who is a up-and-coming 135. A lot of people were thinking maybe this is going to be the next girl. Shevchenko ran through her and got her out, but the biggest fight for her was when she took out Holly Holm after Holm lost to Miesha Tate. But I'm going Nunes too. So
and
let's
I think
go to
Nunes
the other.
will keep it
Let's go to the other interim title fight: Yoel Romero versus Whitaker. Yoel's 8-0 inside the UFC octagon. Whitaker has won 7 in a row. I don't see this fight going to decision. I'll start it off. I like Whitaker pulling off the upset here, but I mean it's a 50-50, I think.
Yeah, I think this is a very even contest of 2 fighters who are really on the uptick of their careers. It's going to be a very interesting fight. I'm leaning towards Romero. I think his physicality. He's absolutely
always walking around the cage doing this. Weird dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very tough back and forth fight, but I lean towards the power of Romero.
Yeah.
You're going to see 4 more salutes by Romero in that fight. Look, he's like Brian said.
Can you give us one?
Cool! I love you, Jesus Christ! That's what's going to happen. Romero's too physical, too big, too strong.
His nickname is the Soldier of God.
Yeah, he's going to be saluting God in that fight. So,
all right, 2 Romeros, 1 Whitaker. This one's got fight of the year potential. Donald Cerrone, Robbie Lawler. Lawler, the former champ, got knocked out by Woodley. Cerrone was on a tear at 170, and that streak came to an end against Jorge Masvidal. I'm probably leaning Cerrone here, a little younger, a little quicker, and I think the endurance a little better for Cerrone this late in his. Lawler's a little late in his career, so I don't know if Lawler's going to rebound from that loss, and I'm going Cowboy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Cerrone too. He just tends to get knocked back a step, but then he always seems to recover. So he doesn't stay down for long in terms of the win-loss record in his career. He just fights all the time. You gotta love that in a fighter. So I think, again, like you said with Lawler, I think he's kind of on the tail end of his career, so I'd give the edge to Cerrone there.
Yeah. I'm also taking Cerrone in this fight. I'm
Lawler's your boy.
I'm torn between the. They're both 2 of my favorite fighters. Don't get it twisted. But at the end of the day, I just think Cerrone, like Brian said, he just has a great job of proving redemption when he loses a fight, and he just has way more tools than Lawler has. Way more use of leg kicks, mixes it up really nicely. One of the best fighters to mix it up in the UFC. And Lawler really just has his punching ability. I just think Cerrone's going to pick him apart with punches and kicks and eventually either get the TKO or maybe set him up for a submission.
The other 2 fights, run through them real quick. You got Alistair Overeem versus Fabricio Verdum, rubber match. They both have 1 win each. Overeem got one back in 2011 in Strikeforce. In 2006, it was Verdum in Pride. I got Overeem getting the rubber match here. I think he's just a little better. Verdum, of course, great submission guy. If he goes to the ground, not a good look for Overeem, but I like Overeem. Just a little too strong for the pre-show.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think that the knockout power of Overeem is something that it will be the difference in this fight. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
That's all I need to say.
That's all. Short and
I
sweet.
also am taking over in this fight, but I really think it's a toss-up fight. Both are coming off losses to the champ. So at the end of the day, I really think it depends. Is it going to stay standing or go to the ground? And wherever aspect of the game it goes to is going to who's win that fight. So I think Overeem's going to keep it standing, find a way to finish him on the feet.
And Anthony Pettis back at 155. He's taking on a very game Jim Miller. Miller's won 3 of 4. I think Pettis has lost 4 of 5, but against very good competition too. Who you got? You got Showtime. He's your boy, ain't he?
He is. My introduction into MMA was through Anthony Pettis. He did an MTV show back probably a decade ago, where a documentarian followed his life, and you kind of saw the motivation of Anthony Pettis, and it was really about family and making a career out of this, and he was able to do that. And then top that off with the Henderson knockout with the kick off the cage.
That was one of the best moves in MMA history.
Absolutely. So that'll always get me to be a Pettis fan. So even though he's on the downside, maybe he's figuring things out.
He's still pretty young too.
He is young, and I think it's not necessarily a downside of his skill set. I just think the book out on him is out there, and now people can follow the book and know how to beat Pettis. But I still give the edge to Pettis because I'm biased.
I'm gonna go Pettis too. I think he's just a little more skilled. But Jim Miller's a very game opponent. I mean, this guy's been around forever. So
Yeah, the way these two fighters are standing right now, I just think Miller's going to win the fight. I'm rooting for Pettis. He's been one of my favorite fighters as well. But at the end of the day, I just think Miller's going to take this fight to the ground. And Miller has a lot of the tools that are in that playbook you talked about the way to beat Pettis. And that's really stay grappled with him, keep it close, and stay on the ground so he can't use his kicks and punches. And I just think Miller's one of the best fighters at that, at least as far as the veteran goes. He's going to be able to do that in this fight and probably dominate the fight.
The other fight card I want to talk about, UFC 214. We're going, baby. Anaheim, California. Daniel Cormier taking on John Jones, probably the biggest grudge match in UFC history. Chael and Anderson Silva was right there, but this one's got... These guys are actually on the same level when it comes to skill, I believe. And all I care about is I just want to hear and skill.
Why do you even like Cormier? When did you start liking Cormier?
He's a good guy, John Jones, come on.
Yeah, definitely in terms of character.
I like how you brought the good guy argument into it. And John Jones is a great guy.
But John Jones, I mean, you can make a case. He's the best fighter in MMA history. Really should be undefeated. His only loss was because of legal elbows to Matt Hamill. He's won 13 fights in a row. Yeah. He beat the who's who. I hope Cormier wins, but I think Jones gonna get that belt back.
Yeah, and talking about what he should be a heavyweight.
Yeah.
with his size and just
he has
his
longer
frame.
reach than anybody on the UFC roster.
Yeah, and
including heavyweights.
So as a light heavyweight, his being able to fight at 205, his physicality is just something unmatched, and you don't see anywhere else in that division, and it seems to cause a lot of problems for Cormier's game. So I agree with you. Where I lean towards Jones. Yeah. I kind of hope Cormier wins just to be proven
I'll tell you
wrong.
what, Cormier's got a better chance than Conor does against Floyd. So
that's true.
Forget both you clowns. Let's go, Jones! Come on!
We all picked Jones.
No, yeah, but you guys want Cormier. I want Jones, and Jones is going to win. You heard it first here on Poff Poff Pass.
I think a lot of people actually have said John Jones is going to win.
Well, so. JT just said it, so yeah. But no, I just think Jones at the end of the day, he's the only one who can stop Cormier at his wrestling ability and keep the fight standing.
You can make a case he out-wrestled Cormier in the first fight, so.
Yeah.
The other fight that hasn't been officially announced, but it looks like it's pretty much a done deal. Cyborg's back. She's fighting Megan Anderson, I believe the Invicta champ. So
we're gonna
Cyborg's
watch
back.
Our first murder victim in life. It's gonna. I mean, I don't know if I'm looking forward to it.
This
but
time
I'm
it won't
looking
be
forward
Angela
to Cyborg.
Magana, so that girl needs to just go away.
Yeah.
But Cyborg's gonna, first round.
She's gonna destroy that.
Head falling off,
I agree.
knockout.
Yeah.
For sure. They also said Tyron Woodley might be fighting on that card too against Damian Maia.
Put it on there.
I don't think Maia's gonna be ready, So I'm going to book it. He's going to fight Jorge Masvidal, who's coming off a
Oh
loss.
my, what an intriguing fight that would
Yeah,
be.
I'm starting that rumor, and that fight's going to happen.
Start it up. Let's go. You heard it her first. On
Heard it
first.
first.
Heard it her first.
Well, you heard it her now. We're going
Right
to take
her.
a break, and then when we come back, you got your Red Sox cap on. You're a big Dodger fan.
I left my cap, but
It's going to be
I got
time.
my thinking cap.
MLB buy or sell. We're going to take a look at some of the division leaders, and we're also going to give you our World Series predictions along with MVP choices. We'll be back here on the Poff Poff Pass Show. We back. Brian Nelson in the house still. JT Blaze. Baseball's pretty much taking over now. NBA season a wrap. Obviously, the Warriors 1-5 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. You guys ready for some buy or sell?
Sure.
Ready.
Well, since you got your Red Sox cap on, let's start with the New York Yankees. Will the New York Yankees win the American League East? Buying or selling? Jake, I'll go with you first. We know what he's saying.
I'm going to go with buy. I just think if you look at that lineup right now, you have an MVP candidate in Judge, the way he's hitting the ball. You have a lot of heavy hitters in that lineup, a lot of young talent, which means I think they're going to be durable. A lot of them will probably stay healthy. Their pitching maybe needs a little bit of work,
Yeah.
but as far as winning the division goes, I think the way those bats are lighting it up, especially against teams like Boston that are competing against them, I would have to lean towards the Yankees right now, and I just don't see a reason why they're not going to keep winning games off their offensive production.
I think the biggest offseason pickup for any team, one of the biggest, was getting Matt Holliday, because he's having a really good year, but they have that leadership guy now in the clubhouse. I know Big Kahuna's cringing in the back because the Oakland A's trade didn't really work out when they got Matt Holliday. But Matt Holliday has just been a clubhouse guy for all these young guys, and he's having a really good year too. I think he's done that. But what are you thinking? You buying or you selling there, Red Sox?
I'm going to sell,
Shocker.
but as a Red Sox fan, it pains me to say I like what the Yankees are doing as an organization, building with these young players. Aaron Judge is phenomenal. Like, it'd be
they
ridiculous.
haven't even called up Gleyber Torres
Exactly.
yet. Like,
And they absolutely stole him from the Cubs because you trade Chapman
Get
for
him
half
back.
a season
Yeah.
and you get a star shortstop for the next 10, 15
Yeah.
years. Plus, Gary Sanchez, he was injured to start out the year, but now he's back. He's been producing as a home run
Didi
hitter.
He's been
Gregorius
lighting
is
it up, too.
lighting it up too.
They have guys all around.
They have a stellar offense, but Jake's point about the pitching, I think this division is going to be won or lost at the trade deadline because both teams have young
Cueto's
players.
going to be on the move.
Oh, that'd be interesting fit for him in New York.
Yeah.
Definitely would be a good top of the line rotation. But I think that's going to be the real difference maker between the Red Sox and the Yankees. I think that both are going to make the playoffs, but in terms of who's going to win the division, I think whoever makes the most aggressive move at the trade deadline strikes first. I think that's what's going to separate them. I'm going to hope that the Red Sox do that, so that my prediction comes
you
true.
guys talk Big Papi into coming back?
I think that's really been the big difference between last year and this year is that identity of a power hitter is gone, and their offense is very doubles, on base percentage. They kind of play a National League style ball where there's not a lot of home run hitting. They do, like Mookie Betts does hit home runs, and you still got some power hitters, but predominantly you don't have that one person. I think not signing Edwin Encarnacion, somebody like that really hurt them in terms of their offensive identity. So if they could get a power hitter where the Yankees need starting pitching, I think those are the two moves that each team needs to make.
As you would have imagined, you're selling, you're buying. Next one up, will the Houston Astros win the American League pennant? This is just making a Red Sox fan cringe over here. I'll let you start, Brian. They're loaded.
They
Their
are
bullpen's
loaded.
nice. Lance McCullers and Dallas Keuchel, when healthy this year, have been lights out.
That's definitely the key word is when healthy.
They're going to be in the Cueto sweepstakes too, I think.
And I really think my trepidation there is whether Dallas Keuchel can be the ace, because we always see in postseason ball, you need to have the pitching in there, and if your pitcher struggles like Keuchel did last year, he really had an off year, and he bounced back this year to be that ace that they were expecting. But because that's in the history to be great and then to be mediocre and now great again, is he going to be that ace that you need in the postseason? So. I'm gonna buy just based off of the young talent that the Astros
that
have.
lineup is filthy.
It is. Correa, Springer, I love those players. And Altuve.
Josh Reddick.
Never thought like one of the best players in the league could be 5'5".
Yeah.
He's like the Isaiah Thomas of the, Major League Baseball. So, and they have young players in their minor league system as well, like Bregman, the third baseman that they have really young. Can potentially develop into something.
Marvin Gonzalez having a great year too. Even a guy like Marisnik in the outfield, a good fourth outfielder to have on your team. They've got a lot of good pieces. Jake, you jumping in that?
I am buying all day. They remind me a lot of the Cubs last year. Just a ton of young talent, and everything's clicking in the right way. And the thing with them, if you talk about the Yankees bringing in Matt Holliday, you look at Carlos Beltran and what Reddick has done for them too. They also have that right chemistry of the amount of veteran players really guiding the younger players, and now you're starting to see the younger players produce. You have guys like Springer taking off. There's just guys all over that lineup that are producing, and don't forget their bullpen has been pretty solid as well.
Ken Giles having a bounce back year. He's been right there, best closer in the American League for sure.
And their pitching has actually been pretty solid as well. This team really doesn't have a weakness if you think about it, and the way they're playing right now, I don't really see.
They probably need that third starter.
Yeah, but as far as keeping wins going and winning the AL pennant and another team being able to catch them, I can't really think of another team.
So you believe the Astros are going to be in the World Series? They're going to win the American League pennant?
I do. I mean, if you look at it, the only reason I don't think they will is if a serious injury happens to the top of that rotation. Keuchel gets hurt or his confidence gets waivers like Brian talked about, because that's what really depends at the end of the day in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm taking them.
Let's move on to another Yankee. I'm just starting off nice for you, Brian. Aaron Judge right now right in contention for the Triple Crown. Obviously best average, most homers, and most RBI. He would be the 11th player to do so from the American League and third since 1967. Yes or no, Jake? Will he do it?
Yeah, I think he will. I mean,
that's all you got to say, Brian?
The kid has all the talent in the world, and he's producing.
What are you going? Do you think he's going to do it? I just want to hear a Red Sox fan go, yeah.
What really benefits him is that he has the support behind him in the lineup, so that you can't pitch around him. Man, I'm trying to think of anybody who can challenge him in some of the departments.
Oh, I know. Bellinger, but doesn't matter,
it's American
League.
I know,
yeah.
But I was thinking just overall, but yeah.
Well, I mean, average-wise, obviously there's going to be a couple guys that will be right there. You don't think a power hitter like Judge is going to be able to keep this average up, but the guy, he's getting base hits too with those home runs.
Yeah, I think the one weakness in the Triple Crown statistics would be the average portion. So it just depends if he's consistent, because obviously he's a rookie, right? Or
he's a rookie.
Coming off as a rookie. Yeah. He played a little bit last year, but not enough to make the
he's definitely winning American League Rookie of the Year.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a lock.
And he's definitely going to hit the most home runs, I think, if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
No question there. I don't think either.
So yes, sure.
Yeah, there it is.
Last American League question, real quick. Cleveland Indians, kind of slow start. Are they going to bounce back and win the American League Central? You buying or selling that?
I'll buy that.
The Twins.
The Twins are the team that they have to beat, and
Tigers and Royals, I think, are 2 games under 500 maybe, but I think those two teams might be sellers down the road.
Yeah, I would imagine so as well. Because one of the Royals, that young core that they won their World Series, back-to-back World Series appearances, getting a little older. You know,
I think most of them too have this is the last year of
their
deals too.
Hosmer is a free agent, Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain.
And that bullpen is gone.
Yeah, all they got is Herrera.
Rockies are happy about that.
Yeah, definitely Greg Holland. So I think that division is the most winnable, and that benefits them going down the line, where you have all those division games where you can pick up and make up a lot of ground. So I do think the Indians can bounce back and win that division.
Yeah, I think Cleveland they just watched their Cavs get smacked in the finals. I think at least the Indians will bring back a little hope for the city.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make it back to the World Series like they did, but I do expect them to
Yeah,
get back
I mean,
to the playoffs.
the big thing with the Twins, I think, is they're going to be able to keep production in their lineup, specifically Sanu and guys like Dozier. Are they going to be able to keep producing at a high level, especially Sanu? He is the key to that engine running right
Yeah,
now.
Miguel Sano is a stud.
But you compare what the Twins have to what the Indians have, especially when it comes to pitching and just all the tools. And I just think Cleveland in the long term is going to be able to keep a pretty decent winning record. And I just think the Twins are going to eventually go through a slump. Indians may be able to catch them. And even if the Indians make the wild card, they're still going to be a scary team in the wild card, especially in a sport like baseball.
All right,
where wild card teams
let's
can
run
win
through
all
the
time.
Final Four real quick. National League. Is this statement, are you buying or selling? The Los Angeles Dodgers are the best team in the National League.
Yes.
You know, that's all you got to
Yeah.
say. They're
Bias
deep.
cap
They're
on.
deep. I mean,
They're deep and they have pitching.
Yeah.
And they're deep in pitching and hitting. And it really, every year you just have guys coming out of nowhere that are just storming the
It's
city.
funny watching the game today. You have Chris Taylor batting third and Cody Bellinger batting fourth. And
Jock Peterson batting fifth. I
but
believe.
no, what they're saying was you have your 3 and 4 hitters for a team that's won 42 games, and neither one of these guys were up to start the season. So it just shows you the depth
Yeah.
the Dodgers have. You
And
buying or selling
that's
that
kind
statement?
of just to, before I answer, just to piggyback off of that. That's kind of the idea you have when you hire an Andrew Friedman, who comes from the Rays system that built that World Series contender with Evan Longoria and all those young players. So that's not an accident that the Dodgers magically have a 3-4 hitter that are in their young 20s. That's definitely the opposite effect that you would expect from a big market like LA, where you have the cap room to sign all these free agents, and you expect that kind of philosophy.
Because they basically just let Greinke walk. Like,
Exactly.
we're not paying this much.
And so that shows the benefit of that philosophy.
And not just that, think about the years before. We had Seager come up 2 years ago, who ended up being an NL MVP candidate. Jock Peterson the year before that, who stormed the
Even
scene.
Yasiel Puig.
And Yasiel Puig. You're talking, I mean, how many other teams had 4 or 5 potential superstars come into the league immediately and have success? And we've seen that with pretty much all this young talent. And we haven't even talked about the pitching, which for starters, Kershaw, obviously, but they've had some other young guns, especially in the bullpen that they brought up. Jansen, for example, is a homebred guy, too.
He has not walked one single batter, and we're in the middle of June.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
And that's why I think the Dodgers definitely have the potential to win the NL pennant. I'll say right now, they also don't have a weakness, and they're one of the hottest teams in baseball. You look at their lineup.
I do believe their one weakness is still the starting pitching.
Yeah,
Really, I mean, Alex Wood's been great. But you don't expect Wood to be like lights out, leading the NL and ERA all throughout the season. Obviously, you know what you're going to get with Kershaw. I still don't believe they have that number 2 ace that you need to carry in the postseason. But they do have a really good bullpen. So we'll see. Are you buying or selling, though? You tried to get out of that.
Well, one of the, but did you expect Kyle Hendricks to lead the ERA last year?
That's a good point.
That's just one guy. Alex Wood could have a spectacular season. Rick Porcello last year, AL Cy Young. So you can see 1 year aberrations benefit you and try to win a title. I would say yes. I would say the 2 teams that I would kind of give nods to would be the Nationals and the Rockies right now, based off the way they're playing. But I would say if I had to pick between those 3 teams, I'd pick the Dodgers as the top.
And don't forget to, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to move on, but go ahead.
One quick thing, too, is just because the Dodgers may not be top half in the rotation, they're one of the best teams who know how to use their bullpen and use other starters who can give them 2 or 3 innings as well. So you don't necessarily need a guy to go 6 or 7 in the postseason. You just maybe need 4 or 5 and then use that bullpen. And we all know who's one of the best at doing it is Roberts, as far as
I was about to say the
bullpen.
one guy's name you guys didn't mention was a hero for you back in the day, swiping bags. And he's one of the best player managers in all baseball. It's Dave Roberts. And I think he is the perfect guy for this young team with some veterans, too. I think he's going to be the one that kind of gets them over. But we'll see. Long way to go.
Long way to go.
You got to buy one of these teams and sell the other. Arizona Diamondbacks, Colorado Rockies. Who you buying? Who you selling?
Well, I kind of gave them the nod. We're the best teams. I would buy the Rockies and I would sell the Diamondbacks. I've always been an Arenado fan, and he's phenomenal. People discredit him because he plays in Coors Field and say his offensive numbers are inflated.
On the road too.
But and not to mention defense translates. So
what's he won? 3 straight, 4 straight Gold
something
Gloves?
like that.
Something ridiculous.
I mean, if you watch ESPN, you have a really high chance of seeing a highlight from Arenado every night. I think the last 10 times I've seen SportsCenter Top 10, he's had a top 10 defensive play on there. The guy is unbelievable third base. I think the best third baseman in baseball.
And I think one of the most underrated players in all of baseball is Charlie Blackmon.
I was about to bring up Blackmon.
The center
He's
fielder.
right up there in RBI lead for National League, and he's a leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And the thing that's really the difference maker this year is they have young pitching that's really performed for them. Senzatella might be Rookie of the Year for starting pitching, and
Gray's been hurt all year, and he's their ace.
Exactly.
So he's coming back soon.
I think that combination, I like that over the Diamondbacks, who obviously have played well, but I think the Rockies are just a little bit more. I think they have a little bit more longevity and can actually do more, especially if they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the
I'd
wild card.
actually agree,
Arizona,
too.
Colorado.
I would buy Colorado and sell Arizona. I think Colorado's one of the hottest teams in baseball. They have one of the most potent lineups as far as Blackmon, Arenado. Even though Carlos
LeMahieu.
Gonzalez is having an off year, you have so many guys that you can plug in there.
Mark Reynolds having a great year.
I mean, there's guys top to bottom ranking. And
David Dahl's not even back yet.
And a lot of those guys are having success on the road as well. And I think the biggest difference with them is, like Brian brought up, is their pitching, especially their bullpen. It's been a lot better than in recent years, especially
Who has the most saves in all baseball?
Probably the closer of the Rockies.
Yeah, Greg Holland.
Yeah, Holland, that's right. And I totally forgot he was there, and you brought that up earlier. But yeah, either way, I just think the Rockies have more options as far as being able to bring different guys that can pitch, and their lineup is just a little bit more potent than the
And
Diamondbacks.
as you guys would have guessed, we are kind of West Coast heavy here, because another West question's coming up. Will 3 teams from the National League West make the playoffs?
Well, nobody's from the East is going to make the wild card because the
Mets-
Nationals have that.
The Mets, just too many injuries.
Exactly.
I mean,
especially their pitching rotation.
really, the Central potentially only has 1-2 with the Cubs. I mean, unless the Brewers
Just
kind of
can
keep it going.
Keep it longevity. You know, the Brewers versus the Diamondbacks, you can argue those are two similar type of teams where you didn't expect much from them, and they're having.
Diamondbacks have a very underrated lineup too, especially getting Pollock back. Jake Lamb's having a phenomenal year. You got Goldschmidt, Chris Owings finally playing like some people thought he would, and you got obviously Peralta and Wright. I mean, this is a team that's
I think the one
they're
thing
right
with the
there.
Diamondbacks is starting pitching though.
Zach
Other than
Greinke and Robbie Ray has been phenomenal
But
this
the rest, Corbin has been pretty bad. A lot of those other starters really.
year. But
you
you
only
were
have
buying
those
into the
two.
Astros, and they're really top 2 heavy.
Yeah, but they have way more of a potent lineup and way better bullpen. Arizona's bullpen is also
Fernando
a huge.
Rodney, number 2 in saves this year.
Yeah, you think that's going to stay? You think that's going to keep lasting? You want to bank on Rodney? Go ahead, buddy. How many times I've heard you vent about that guy? In fact, didn't you drop him from your fantasy
I
team?
kept him because I'm smart.
Yeah, is he starting or on your bench?
He's starting.
The one thing you can never
Now.
count out
Familia
too
got hurt,
is
so.
the St. Louis Cardinals. I know they've been struggling, but that organization has a history of success. Even though this year, obviously losing Matt Holliday, their lineup's not the same. It really isn't.
Carpenter's kind of having a little down year right now, but if he gets hot, he's one of those guys that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the lineup too. So
And they do have some guys in that lineup are doing pretty well right now. Fowler's actually having a solid year. Also, Tommy Pham has also been a big boost for their lineup as well. And they still have solid guys like Molina who can still produce and bring that defense. But I think the big thing with them is they still have Carlos Martinez, and that guy's having a phenomenal year. Wainwright, I think, is
But
the biggest issue
about-
with them. He is so hit or miss.
O's been kind of shaky in the 9th too.
You always have.
He's okay. He's up and down, but he definitely has the potential to be solid. And he's actually has struggled at the beginning of the year and has been a lot better. He's had a couple bad outings recently, but overall he's been better. So I know you're trying to take a shot at my team, but I'm happy with O.
Oh boy, so you gonna take the Cardinals?
I'm gonna go sell. I'm gonna say either the Brewers can keep their momentum up, or the Cardinals come out of nowhere and take that second spot.
I'm also going to say sell. I do think the Diamondbacks are just going to kind of tail off a little bit. Between them and the Rockies, I think one of those teams will fade, and I just have a lot of faith actually in the Cardinals. I think they're going to be one of those wild card scary teams as long as their pitching can get a little bit more consistent, because they still have a decked out bullpen. They still have a bunch of guys with big arms that they can bring out in those 7th, 8th, and 9th. Just their starters got to hold up. But I think they will more than the Diamondbacks will long term.
I'm buying this for sure. I think all 3 get in, and I believe the Diamondbacks actually end the season with a better record than the Colorado Rockies.
I think another thing to remember too is all 3 of those teams have to play each other a lot.
Exactly.
So I think those NL West teams may
They
beat
also
each
get
other
to
up.
play the Padres
And the
Giants,
So
who have been pretty bad.
That's true.
Last buy or sell, Cubs, National League Central champs. It's pretty, I think, obvious, right?
Yeah.
Sell.
Because
No, I'm joking.
yeah, because we are obviously was talking about the other 2 wildcard teams coming
Brewers
from
and
the Central,
Cardinals, yeah.
Brewers and Cardinals. So obviously I'm picking the Cubs, so I would buy that. Obviously they've struggled a little bit coming off of the championship year. But, like, if you look at their roster, they've been dependent on older pitchers the entire time with Lester, Lackey, and then their lineup, Schwarber, hasn't been the megastar.
I know.
That
he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah,
he's batting like 170.
Yeah, he's not the megastar that everybody thought he was going to be. And maybe that's because, honestly, playing left field as a catcher, maybe that gets in his way at some time.
Leadoffs where he should be hitting either.
Being a leadoff hitter. So maybe just a comfort level thing with him. But I think one way or another, there's just too much talent on that roster. Yeah. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Ben Zobrist just won the DL, but Zobrist is such a good versatile piece.
And then you got like Addison Russell, Javi Baez. I mean, they're
just so loaded that in that division, I think talent wins out over the hot start of the Brewers and the consistent legacy of the Cardinals.
I think they're going to definitely make a big move before the trade deadline, and I think they're going to try and really get another solid starter in that rotation just to kind of bolster it up and just relieve some innings for the older guys like Lester, who kind of just need more innings, I think, especially to save him for the postseason. But that lineup just has too much, I think, depth to really count them out, and there's no real competition, I think.
Yeah.
As far as testing the question marks with the Cubs compared to the Brewers or the Cardinals, I still think there's less for the Cubs, and I think they're going to be able to bounce back. And they still have Madden running the ship, and they still have one of the best GMs in baseball history making moves for them as well. So I just think they have too many potential weapons.
I think there's going to be 3 starters that will be on the move, and it's going to be huge for whoever gets them. I think Sonny Gray, Garrett Cole, and Johnny Cueto. We'll see what those 3 guys go. Dodgers will be in the mix. The Cubs, obviously, the Astros. So
Garrett Cole in a Dodgers uniform would be great.
And
he's from. I'm just going to say it now. He's from Southern California. I think Sonny Gray's probably the guy the Dodgers get, though, from the history from Friedman being with the A's and stuff like that.
And the Yankees, too, I think are going to be a potential buyer.
I think we got an A's fan and Dodger fan in the back there getting kind of happy with that. All right, real quick, we're going to do some predictions. We'll start with the awards. Rookie of the Year, American League. I think this is pretty obvious because he's probably going to win the MVP, too, right?
Yeah.
So
fine, Judge, final decision. Just hammer that in.
Judge unanimous.
The verdict is in, and Judge wins.
National League Roy, I think this might be unanimous again. I think the Dodgers are going to get another one back-to-back years, going from Corey to Cody. I think Cody Bellinger is the guy, right?
When you're getting compared to Babe Ruth, I think you're doing something right. And Cody Bellinger has had comparisons to Babe Ruth as far as hitting home runs.
Is that coming from you, or?
I heard it somewhere on MLB Network, so yeah.
I love it. All right, so Bellinger and Judge, unanimous. MVPs, American League, I'm going to stick with Judge. I think he's going to win Roy and MVP. Phenomenal season so far. Oh, Brian's thinking. So last, Jake.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be unanimous. I think Judge is going to take it down. I just think he has so much entertainment value, and so many guys are amazed by what he's doing right now as far as sports writers and people who have a vote. Unless something happens to Judge and he gets injured or something serious like that, I think he's going to take it. I really do.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the consistency because I said he's going to win the Triple Crown. Obviously, if you get the Triple Crown, you're probably going to be MVP. And he took a Yankees team that everybody expected to be rebuilding, and they're probably going to win the division at least. So that storyline coupled with the amazing numbers, I think he would be my MVP leader.
Yeah. Cy Young's, I'll start it off. I'm going with 2 lefties, Kershaw, National League, and your boy, Christopher Sale, American League. Dallas Keuchel's 9-0 with the 1-7, but he's missed some starts, and I think Chris Sale is going to just be the leader across the board in almost every pitching category.
Yeah, the one he might not get is wins and losses because the Red Sox seem to not score for him. So I think that's something to watch because that's a problem that some pitchers have for a season where your team just doesn't score for you. So
just ask Matt Cain back in the day with the Giants.
Exactly.
And ask Clayton Kershaw, too. He knows the thing about that as well. Well, not this year.
If Sale wins, it's going to be like one of those Felix Hernandez Cy Youngs.
He's going to definitely have the most Ks.
Yeah, he's going to have the most Ks. He's probably going to have the lowest ERA.
Yeah.
And so I like that pick. I'll second that.
There we go. 2.
Lock it up for me, too. I just think Chris Sale and Kershaw are clearly the 2 best pitchers in the league. Maybe the only guy who could compete with Kershaw is Max Scherzer because how great of a year the Nationals are having. But you just look at what Kershaw's done in his numbers this year. I just think he's going to repeat that as long as he stays healthy. I think he's pretty much a lock. Scherzer's the only guy to compete. And on the AL side, I just think Chris Sale's numbers at the end of the year are just going to be – no one's going to be able to compete with that, just how hot he's been. And I do think down the road the Red Sox will start putting up some runs for him, and he'll start getting some easier wins as well. So that lineup has potential to get him some easy wins. So lock it up for me.
All right, real quick. Now, you're just going to tell me the team, no explanation. We're going to go division by division.
No explanation. I heard it.
I had to give you a look. No explaining.
Yeah.
American League West. This is easy.
Astros.
Yeah, what are you thinking of?
Astros.
You just stared at me all weird.
I was thinking of one word. Okay, don't say anything else. Don't say anything else.
Houston Astros.
Don't say anything else.
American League Central.
American League Indians.
Indians. American League East.
Red Sox.
I'm on your team, Red Sox.
I already said Yankees,
That's
so
right.
I'm not going to switch.
Well,
this
people
quick.
could be like you, and they already forget
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
That's
So
true.
National League West, Dodgers.
Dodgers.
We're actually on that camera.
Dodgers.
National League Central, Cubs.
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 National League East. New York Mets get healthy. No, they don't. Washington Nationals.
Nationals.
Nationals. It's pretty much a lock.
This is the fun part, though. Wild card, D-backs, Rockies. National League.
I'll go Rockies Cardinals.
I'm taking Rockies Cardinals too.
Gosh, you guys, so cute.
Cute. Yeah, too bad you're not cute.
American League wild card. Yankees. Who else we got? Who else is going to be there? I'm trying to think of some other teams, too. I tell you what. Mike Trout gets healthy.
Oh, my God.
Angels, Yankees, 2 wild cards.
I got Yankees for sure. It's gonna be.
He ain't believing in the Angels, though.
I'm not a big Angels believer.
They're afloat right now without Trout.
They're always afloat with Trout,
When
but
Trout's
that's-
back, we'll see.
Yeah. Come back to me on the second wild card.
I'm going to take Red Sox and the Mariners.
I like
actually
the
think
Mariners.
Seattle is a sneaky good
They
team.
need to stay healthy.
They need to stay healthy, but they have all the right tools if they can stay healthy. They
You
have
know
the
what?
pitching. If
I
Kane
could have been
Felix
wrong.
can stay
Blue
healthy,
Blue
yeah,
Jays
no
could get
explanation,
hot, too.
sorry,
But
Blue Jays came from out of nowhere to get kind
know.
of back in there.
Donaldson's back.
the problem with the Blue Jays is they just have. I think they're going to get beat up in the division. I
Yeah.
think they just got. It's just too tough playing Boston and the Yankees. How many times? And Baltimore's still a decent team as well. They still have some tools. They just lost their bullpen, which
They
has
need,
killed them.
they need.
I'm
And
gonna,
their
say,
pitching.
I'm gonna say Twins for
I
my
like
other
it.
one. Yeah.
Jose Barrios, man, that
Yeah.
kid's been dealing. They got some studs. All right, put your World Series prediction cap on. I'll start this way. JT, what's good?
I think it's going to be
Well,
a
you-
classic time revamped Dodgers Yankees.
Wait, earlier you said in buy or sell that the Astros are going to win the pennant. So obviously that you meant to
I
sell.
thought about it and I totally wait. I meant Dodgers Astros. Take 2. Like you say, you just proved your point. The kid forgets stuff. I did.
know. I think you had the Astros
Wait.
winning the pennant.
Forget the cut. Dodgers Astros. Let's just pretend that whole 2 minutes didn't happen. I'm
I
just
think
gonna
we're gonna
pretend
have
like
the
I'm
same.
Trump. I never said that.
I think we're going to have the same, Brian. What do you got?
Well, I already said Astros were gonna win
Oh.
too, so
Who's in the NL?
At least you remember.
yeah, that jogged my memory that I agreed with Jake.
Oh, Jake.
Oh boy. Good job. Good
You know-
effort. Already starting.
The Dodgers in the playoffs, it's a real thing. I feel like the struggles.
Is it like these guys? It says Los Angeles Clippers, by the way.
Well, at least they can get to the championship game.
Yeah,
I don't
'cause they
know
got
about
Jerry
the
West.
but I don't know about the Clippers.
Jerry's in town, though.
I'm gonna go
Don't say Nationals. They have no bullpen.
Cubs.
Wow.
I'm gonna say Cubs go back.
Cubs, Stros.
Cubs, Stros.
Dodgers, Red Sox, book it.
Yeah, I tried to book that last year. That didn't go well at all.
Remember when Sports Illustrated, though, came out with that article, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago? It said Astros 2017 World Series champs. The crazy thing is they could be right.
That could be like.
Now, speaking of being right, it's probably not going to happen much because we're going to come back. It's time for some NBA draft
no.
trivia here on the Poff Poff Pass Show. Well, welcome back. It is time for NBA Draft Trivia. In this corner, standing 5 foot something, wearing a Boston Red Sox hat, Brian Nelson. Woo! And standing in this corner, a.k.a. Flipper, JT Blaze. Flipper, let's see what he's got. All right, rules to this. 10 questions. Whoever gets more wins. You got to tap your ball first if you want to win.
My ball's a little fragile.
Elbows got to stay on the arm chair, and you can't go until the end of the question. So, all right, actually, you can't go until I read the 4 choices.
Gotcha.
So once I get after D, slap away at those balls, boys.
After D,
touch
the balls. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Question number 1. I'm going to cue the music here. There's the Jeopardy. In the 2011 NBA Draft, this team selected Kawhi Leonard with the 15th overall pick before trading him.
Sorry,
You're going to get eliminated, bud, before trading him to the San Antonio Spurs. What team was it? A, Denver Nuggets, B, Indiana Pacers, C, New Orleans Pelicans, or D, Washington Wizards? Brian.
What? Hey! Wait, where's the review?
I saw it.
There's no replay?
There's no red flags. I saw it.
That would be B, the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, yeah.
That is correct. 1 for Brian, 0 for Flipper.
I slapped my ball.
You mad, bro? Number 2. Who was Kobe Bryant traded for in the 1996 NBA Draft in a deal with the Charlotte Hornets? A. A.C. Green. I think he's finally had sex. B. Eddie Jones. C. Glenn Rice. Or D. Vlade Divac.
Oh, shit.
That is a disqualification. Brian, you go ahead, Jake. Who you got?
Wait, what? Can I hear the answer?
Oh, my God.
Vlade Divac. I don't know what letter it was.
D, that is correct. Woo! 1 for you. 1 for you. You touch that car again, you're out.
I'm sorry. It was an accident.
Question 3.
It was not an accident.
This one's a little tougher.
Okay.
I hope. In the 1987 NBA Draft, this organization selected Scottie Pippen 5th overall before trading him to the Chicago Bulls. A. Seattle Supersonics. B. Phoenix Suns. C. Cleveland Cavaliers. Or D. The New York Knicks. Didn't sound like a confidence tap over there, but who we got? Sonics, Suns, Cavs, Knicks.
Knicks!
Wrong. You might as well take a crack.
Yeah, what were the choices?
Sonics, Suns, or Cavs.
I'll
He
say
guessed Knicks.
Sonics?
Boom! That is correct. 2 for Brian.
Sonics?
The Supersonics.
They're not
5th
super.
overall.
Yeah,
2
not
for
a
you.
super team.
1 for Flipper. 4. Who is the only player among these 4 to be taken as the number 1 overall pick? A. Kevin Durant. B. Michael Jordan. C. Yao Ming. Or D. Chris Paul. Did you see who got that one in the back?
What?
All right, Brian.
Why is the old guy doing review? Are you kidding me?
Who we got, Brian?
I mean, my fellow Asian Yao Ming.
That is correct.
No.
3-1. Not good for you. 5. Question 5. Which one of these players was selected as the number 2 overall pick in the 2003 NBA Draft after Cleveland took LeBron James? A. Carmelo Anthony. B. Darko Milicic. C. T.J. Ford. Or D. Dwayne Wade. That was you.
Mello!
Nope, that is incorrect.
Milicic!
Yes, that is correct. 4-1. This is not going well.
Didn't go second?
He was 3rd.
Oh my.
He was picked after Darko Milicic. Bonus question: Who selected Darko
Darko?
Milicic?
Pistons.
That is correct.
Bunch of
5.
idiots.
That's a bonus point.
What?
I'm joking. No bonus point. He doesn't need it apparently.
I'm
Gonna pat my lead here.
Question 6. Who was selected 2nd overall after the Washington Wizards took Kwame Brown with the number 1 overall pick? A. Tyson Chandler. B. Shane Battier. C. Pau Gasol. Or D. Gilbert Arenas.
D. Gilbert Arenas.
He was a 2nd round pick. That is correct. Tyson Chandler, Shane Battier, or Pau?
It wasn't Battier, so it's between Gasol or Chandler. I'll say Gasol.
Both wrong.
Thank God.
Tyson Chandler.
Woo!
Gasol
Thank
was
you,
the 3rd
Tyson.
pick out of that. Now,
I picked
here we
the
go.
Second rounder.
Clippers question. Who was the 2nd overall pick after the Los Angeles Clippers selected Michael Olowokandi with the number 1 pick? A. Vince Carter. B. Antoine Jamison. C. Mike Bibby. Or D. Paul Pierce.
Vince Carter.
And Dope.
Paul Pierce?
Nope. 4 for 2. Mike Bibby.
Dang
Vancouver
it.
Wow.
Grizzlies.
He was not my other guess.
I know. That just bums me out, though. The Clippers selected Michael O'Candy when they could have Vince Carter or Paul Pierce.
Shocker.
At least they got Paul Pierce 40 years later.
Yeah, you needed Jerry West a little sooner.
Which
you
of
idiots.
these, question 8, which of these NBA All-Stars was selected as the last pick of the draft? A, Paul Millsap, B, Manu Ginobili, C, Marc Gasol, or D, Isaiah Thomas? I'll give it to you. He's up 5-1.
Marc Gasol.
Nope. Dang it.
Isaiah Thomas.
Yes, that is correct. The assault is on. 6-1. Oh, boy.
It's already over.
Question 9, just for pride. What player was selected before Michael Jordan in the 1984 NBA draft as the number 2 overall pick? A, Charles Barkley, B, Sam Bowie, C, John Stockton, or Jordan's teammate at North Carolina, D, Sam Perkins?
He beat me.
I'll still,
But yeah,
yeah,
go
we'll
ahead.
give it to you. Get you.
No, let him go.
You don't know the answer,
I
do you?
don't. Let him
Let's
go.
give it to you then.
Sam Bowie.
That is correct. 6-2.
Why am I
He needs
keep
a
pretending
Bowie
I'm
to
Romero?
stay afloat.
What
That was the
organization?
biggest guess, too. I had no
That
idea.
was so easy. What organization has had the most number 1 picks since 1970? A, Los Angeles Clippers, B, Philadelphia 76ers, C, Cleveland Cavaliers, or D, the Portland Trailblazers?
I'm going to go with Philly on this one.
That's wrong.
Who are the other 3 choices?
Clippers, Cavs, or Blazers?
Cavs?
That is correct. This guy's on fire.
And this guy's melting.
7 out of 10. How much did you get right?
2.
2. That's not good. You know what is good? Is we got He's a Beast and Come On Matt. They're telling you to come on, Matt. Coming up next here on the Poff
Beast.
Poff Pass Show.
I'm the idiot.
It's time. It's time to get rowdy in here. Brian, you're not as crazy, so we'll let you kind of just chill. Throw an honorable mention out there. You probably pick some Red Sox, but we'll see. Jake, I'm going to go first because you usually set the tone and you're better, so I'll just, get my little bunt single down
Usually
out of
the
the way.
case, I'm better.
You were actually looking at that camera, so.
I'm not better looking in the cameras. You got that one.
Hey, my beast is Cody freaking Bellinger. This guy has been just smoking the cover off the ball. 19 home runs already. Hit his 19th today. He's got 5 multi-home run games. He had it through his first 45 career games. Guess how many players have done that in MLB history? If you guess 0, that is right. Cody Bellinger just mashing the baseball. Let's go. Dodgers have the best record since Cody Bellinger got called up. Let's go. Cody Bellinger, you're a beast.
All right.
You're up.
My beast is another crazy creature of this world, Kevin Durant. And when I call him KD, I'm not going to call him Kevin Dominant or anything else stupid like that, because he only needs 2 letters to explain how dominant he is. This guy had all the pressure in the world on him, and I know he went to a super team, which we will get to later, but here's one thing to remember. He has the same amount of numbers pretty much that Jordan averaged in the finals. The guy took over in every single game and averaged at least over 30, and more importantly, when you start hitting game winners on supposedly the best player in the game, guess what? That solidifies yourself as one of the best as well. Kevin Durant is now in the argument as one of the best players in the NBA right now, and he proved it where else? The biggest arena on stage that he could in the finals and came through every game. Kevin Durant, you are not just a tarantula, you are a beast tarantula!
Or Durantula.
Or tarantula.
Oh, he got 8 legs. Oh, Tarantula.
But 2 of them are really, really long.
Brian, you got anyone that,
You know who beat a beast? Like Durant, he beat a beast in LeBron James, who averaged a triple-double in the finals.
First ever.
The best 5-game stretch of LeBron James's career. Any 5 games put together, LeBron James' best 5 games he ever put together was in the NBA Finals. The only problem is there's some other beasts on the other team. So I would say LeBron James, just because you got beat, just because you're not a champion, you're still a beast.
I love it. First guy in NBA Finals history, too, to average a triple-double in defeat.
And the first guy who will forget that. But,
All right.
yeah.
We
he's a
got,
beast, no
we
doubt.
got, come on, man. Now, I'm not going to throw this girl's name out there because she's in high school. I don't want to be that much of a dick, but I'm going to roll the clip anyways. Come on, man. Here's mine. And actually, there we go. We had a come on, man in the set. Now, look, check this center fielder on. I got it. Oh! Oh!
And she hit the
dude,
sign?
the ball's like 30 feet out, dude. Look at this. Oh! You know what that reminded me of? Bryce Harper down in L.A. a couple years ago. And I will say this, she got up, she's fine, but the fence won that battle. That's my come on, man, girl, whatever.
Yeah.
Come
Come on, fence.
We're going to play a clip here of Draymond talking about super teams, and that's going to lead into JT's. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man. That's where I work too, by the way. Max Preps. There's
Teams
Draymond.
this, super team that. I never played on a super team. You started the super team, bro. I ain't joined the super team. Hey, Slim. I don't know what you just did, Slim, but you did something to them boys. We appreciate you joining the super team.
There you go.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Jake? Tell us how
I
you really feel.
feel that both these guys are wrong. First of all, it's not called a
First of
super
all.
team. It's called a free agent team. And you can't be mad at the rules. And guess what? LeBron, Draymond, all you guys are all a part of super teams because you're all a part of free agency. This is what you guys asked for as far as players and as owners. You guys agreed on these free agent rules, and guess what happens? Super teams are built. And furthermore, let's not keep blaming Durant for making the best business decision he had available. The Warriors made the best moves to build the best team and gave Durant the best options for him to choose between, just like the Miami Heat did with LeBron. These are all actions of free agency. So I don't want to hear any more trolls complaining that Durant took the easy route, because at the end of the day, what does every player in the league play for? In fact, every athlete, what's the one thing they always want? A ring. So at the end of the day, you're going to do whatever is best for your situation to win a ring. And guess what? Durant did that, LeBron did that, and so did even Gary Payton and Malone. They just failed at it when they went to the Lakers. We've had free agency for a long time, and guess what? Nothing's changed now, and Durant made the best business decision and was sold by one of the best players who's the logo, who told him what's the most haunting thing in his life? Not winning rings. So you know what, Durant? Go to the best place you have to win a ring, and that's exactly what he did. I don't want to hear any more about super teams. It's called free agency. Get used to it, fans, and that's what we're entertained by.
Speaking of free agency, Jerry West just
I
came here.
know.
And Jerry West did win a ring.
Come on, man. That's my new come on, man. Jerry West, what are you doing?
Jerry West did win a ring with the Lakers. He just couldn't beat Boston. He beat the Knicks.
Okay.
So
Glad you got to put your little 30 for 30 info out there.
There was one other clip I wanted to roll. We were talking about Cody Bellinger. Now, this is Cody Bellinger in the minors. And that's a former Solano player in right field, Zach Wells. Watch this catch. Over the fence, leaps over. Hey, up. I got it.
Just in
And
case you weren't sure.
How cool is that? Zach Wells, a former Solano player, out there, this is from last year, obviously, robbing Cody Bellinger in a minor league game. You know, arguably a top 5 name right now in the game of baseball. And we had got our guy, Zach Wells, out there doing that last year. I mean, pretty cool thing to see.
He's a beast, too.
If it was Bryce Harper, he would have face planted into the little wall over there.
Right?
If it was his sister, she would have ran into a fence.
Okay, that's how we're going to end the show, I guess. That's how it ends here. It's all the time we got, baby. Brian Nelson, thanks for joining the set. JT Blaze, a.k.a. Can we get one more flipper out of you?
Yes, we can!
That's how we end the show, baby.
Too much water.
We out here on the Poff Poff Pass Show.